You're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
4 seconds left. In front. Happy moment. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won the first Stanley Cup. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. Lightning strikes twice. The Tampa Bay Lightning win their second straight Stanley Cup.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RBLR Lightning. As always, my name is Jake Ricker. Alongside me, it's Jose Carl. It's Matt Damon. Guys, welcome back to the show, and Happy New Year! Officially the first show here in 2026. Before you get into everything, guys, first and foremost, how you doing today?
Doing wonderfully, boys. 2026 getting off to a great start. What does it take to be number one? Oh, I'm liking where this year's already headed.
Good vibes all around. I'm glad to not be doing it in a truck this time. Glad to be back in the office with you guys. I might be able to actually concentrate instead of road rage this time.
Hopefully we won't have any mess of internet issues like we did last week. Good vibes to start 2026 here.
No promises on the internet, but at least this week there should be nothing to be raging about.
That's absolutely true. There's a lot to like from this week's episode. We're going to get into it all. Game recaps, got some new contracts that were signed. We're less than a month away now from the outdoor game, which I know as everybody's very excited for. We'll get into a little bit of that too. Welcome everybody who's joining with us live here, by the way. Saw people jumping in the chat saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you all as well. Always appreciate you guys jumping in with us. Don't forget, if you have any comments, do drop them down below. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you're not with us live, make sure you follow us on social media at RBR Sports, at RBR Lightning. Subscribe on YouTube, ring the bell notifications, all that good fun stuff so you don't miss out when we do go live. And you can join us here in the conversation talking about the boys in blue. So let's start quickly with the contract situations. I do want to mention Charlie Stu, who got a new contract. 1 year, I think it was $875K, I believe it was. Small contract, but just nice for him to get that contract extension. A guy who's really shown up as a depth piece for the Lightning on the decor side of it, guys.
He's definitely a guy that is, proved potential, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to say that he's worth a huge contract, but this is a great opportunity for him to use this bridge to continue to show himself as being a really solid player and someone that would be better long term. So I think it's a good contract. You're giving the guy a chance. You're not letting him walk, and you're providing a little bit more stability on the defensive end where things might be starting to get unstable in the next year or two. So I personally love it.
How can you complain about it for almost, if not NHL caliber defenseman for under $1 million in today's market? Absolutely. And he's a good puck mover. He's gotten a couple nice goals, a couple good assists. Like he's no stranger to getting up in the rush and providing some offense. Defense, we could work on a little bit, but when you're so sheltered, you're a depth guy like that, doesn't really matter too much. Even getting some time on the power play with a depleted decor, there is nothing to complain about with this deal. So yeah, giving him, another year in the system as well. Hopefully he can, take this opportunity and run with it while he, still is up here. Of course, he's filling in for some injuries right now, but he's doing a great job while he's at it. So good for him to get rewarded with a little bit of a short extension, but an extension at the least.
I mean, I just want to say real quick, in his 34 games played, he's got 14 points. So, that offensive upside definitely shows.
He's already played 34 games.
Yeah, crazy to think.
Wow.
They had a lot of rotating cast for the defense dealing with the injuries right now. You saw Lisa's comment there saying it's a great deal. Beverly said, great job from Chucky. That nickname, I still can't get over it. I guess it's because I just don't know this dude that well. He's only been on the team, as we know, for 34 games. But the Chucky nickname, I know they talked about where it came from. It doesn't feel like it fits him, I don't know.
Well, like Charles, Charlie, Charles, Chuck is a nickname for Charles or Charlie, so Charles.
He's been playing good. You can call him whatever you want, as long as he keeps playing the way that he's been playing. I'm all good with that. So, one other housekeeping thing too should mention: we had a lot of the Olympic rosters that have been getting announced here as we get closer and closer to the Winter Olympics, which are supposedly still happening. If any of you followed the drama with the stadium and it being built in the different dimensions, is it going to be done on time? I don't know. It sounds like a giant mess, but we've had a lot of Lightning players named to Olympic teams. Of course, you have a lot of guys on that Canadian team, including Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli, which was a hot topic conversation between NHL fans because there were quite a few guys that were left off of the Team Canada list that people thought should have been over guys like Cirelli, but Cirelli's been playing really good. We'll talk about him more when we get into the game breakdowns. Jake Gensel, of course, he is going to Team USA. Victor Hedman, he will be on Team Sweden. Pontus Holmberg is also he's on Sweden, I believe, as well. So lots of Bolts. I believe there are 7 Lightning players that are being represented at the Olympics. If I have my number correctly,
I think the number is actually a bit higher than that.
There's a lot of guys. I'm going to try to pull the list while you guys are talking, but there's a lot of Bolts representing.
Yeah, and I think one of them will be, and they haven't been announced yet, but assuming that he gets healthy, I think Lilleberg will be announced as well.
Another one, too, JJ Moser. He hasn't been officially announced for the Swiss team quite yet, but can't imagine that he'd be missing out on that.
You would have to think, right, with the season that he's been having, you got to think. I think one guy that did get snubbed, though, is Darren Radish. He should obviously be on the Olympic roster. I play for Team USA. Where is Radish? He's American, isn't he?
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian. Okay. I should.
Yeah, no, I was going to bring that up later, but yeah, Radish honestly has a not an outside chance. It's not going to happen, but man, what a huge snub. I think he's got the talent for it right now.
Yeah, forget Connor Bedard. I mean, Darren Radish should be on the Olympic roster. There's no question about that.
While we're on the topic of, everyone's mad at John Cooper. He's getting his guys. People are even like, I saw one series and a couple joke comments about Pontus Holmberg getting onto Team Sweden. They're like, oh, somehow Cooper had a hand in that. But everyone's mad that he brought Anthony Cirelli over, a Mark Scheifele or Nick Suzuki, or I think Suzuki made the team, but a Bedard or something like that. Which, if Cooper really had his way and really had his pull like that, Darren Radish would and should be on Team Canada.
That's a good point. It does help when you have both the coach and the GM helping out picking that roster. But Cirelli's been fantastic. And someone pointed this out when you look at the defensive stats specifically for Anthony Cirelli, because as we know as Lightning fans how great of a two-way player he is, that's probably a big reason why he's on the team is because of that side, but it gets overlooked because of the connections to Cooper and JVB.
Yeah, I mean, all joking aside, anytime that you have a player that you root for on your team, you're going to want to see them do well. You're going to want to see them make it to the Olympics and be proud of them and, vicariously live through those experiences. So I get, people getting upset that their people didn't make it, but when you have Cirelli, you've got a depth guy that kills penalties. Him and Hagel are arguably the best penalty killing duo in the league. I don't see how anyone could be upset with having a depth guy like that, where you're not having them there to score goals. You're having them to play two-way hockey, to eat minutes. You don't want Bedard eating your penalty kill minutes. You want that guy to be someone who would be flashy, right? So you need those sort of depth pieces. And guess what? Unlike some of the names that were listed, these guys have been there before, at least in the case of Cirelli, where, he's been to multiple Stanley Cups, won a couple of them. The experience that comes with making the playoff runs and being in those more pressure situations. Both of them did the Four Nations last year as well, right?
Yeah.
That changes things. So what Cooper's building and JBB as well is some real reliability and dependability, and I think they're building a really strong contender there. I think they're going to be favorited to win.
And if you look at the angle that Team Canada is taking right now, they're not going for skill up and down the lineup. They brought Tom Wilson in this year, who, despite him being on a 90-point pace, the first thing you think of when you think of Tom Wilson is not his goal scoring and playmaking. You think of him bashing skulls and laying hits. And, IIHF officiating is a little different from NHL officiating, but even still, they're going for a grittier, heavier, more responsible kind of team than just offense top to bottom. So I can see exactly where he's going with this. Again, leaving guys off like Mark Scheifele, Connor Bedard, even Sam Bennett, who made the Four Nations team last year. Not too sad about him not making it. It's a very tactical move, in my opinion. People are going to be upset. I'm really hoping that Anthony Cirelli can shut some of these people up. I hope he has, some great penalty
One shorty is
kills.
all it'll take, right?
Oh, that would be amazing. That would shut everyone up. So again, he's good in the face-off. He's like we're saying, elite on the penalty kill. Like you said with Hagel, two of the best, if not the two best penalty killing forwards in the game right now. How can anyone really be mad about this? They just want their players on the team.
With that said, let's go Jake Ensel and Team USA. Hope they destroy Team Canada. But
real quick, we're all going to be cheering for Team USA.
Of course.
If John Cooper, Braden Point, Brandon Hagel, and Anthony Cirelli win gold, are you going to be upset?
Of course not, because I'm going to be upset that are they playing Team USA in this scenario? I'm assuming.
Yeah, let's say they beat US for the gold game.
Yes, in the moment, I will absolutely be upset because I want Team USA to win. But am I going to be upset that most of the Lightning players represented in Team Canada won gold? That shows really good for us? No, not at all. But in that moment, I'll still be upset because it's country first.
Yeah, and it also kind of depends on who ends up being a hero in a game like that. If you get Sam Reinhart and Brad Marchand scoring all the goals in the head-to-head matchup, I don't think I'm going to be celebrating too much, even if the camera pans over to our guys to have them wear the hardware. But
really,
I mean, if it ends up being one hell of a performance from Lightning players and they put the team on their back, that's a different story, right?
It's really a win-win scenario for pretty much every team. The talent, the guys that we have spread out everywhere, it's going to be essentially impossible for any of these guys to come back without, at least one gold medal, because you also got to think about Chernak for Slovakia as well. Like, somebody's probably going to be coming back with the gold, unless Germany just pulls a rabbit out.
That's why I think that when it comes to sports betting, you always bet against your team. Mm-hmm. So it's a consolation prize if your team loses, you get a couple of extra bucks in your pocket.
Yeah.
I don't have that mindset. I probably should, because I would have that extra couple bucks in my pocket, but I'm a ride or die. I'm either going to win with my team or I'm going to lose with my team. We're going one way or the other.
In the other news, by all means, go ahead.
I just want to say shout out to Beverly, who gave us a number, by the way, 9-10 with Moser, assuming he gets announced, which he should. There's no question. So thank you, Beverly, for finding out that number. She also said, by the way, celebrating on Canada, Bedard on hold for injury. So hey, there's still a chance Bedard could show up in the Olympics there. So,
and by the way, this should be 12 with Vasilevsky and Kuch, but that's a different.
That's true.
Different
it is a
problem entirely.
Yeah, it's a shame though that they don't get to participate in stuff like this, because they two more guys you'd love to see play in the Olympics and represent the Lightning, but that's the situation. So something to look forward to for the Olympics coming up here very, very soon. Before you know it, what's it, 2 months away? I believe it is. Or
seems about right.
2.5. I think it's February.
February, yeah. So about 2.5 months.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Midway, halfway through it or so is when I think it begins. But before we move on to our games, I do since we're talking about stuff around the league, I want to talk about the Winter Classic for a moment.
I wanted to bring it up quickly.
I mean, since you wanted to bring it up, what'd you think?
Listen, there's a lot of bias coming from me, obviously, because it was involving the Florida Panthers, and I wanted nothing more for the ice to melt in that one and just have it be a disaster because I don't like the Panthers. But, listen, I understand why a lot of Northerner fans are upset. The Winter Classic is this, used to be this big deal, played outdoors, cold weather. On
New Year's Day.
On New Year's Day, right. And now it's just played whenever the heck that they want. So in that aspect, I understand. I still think it was cool. It was weird that it was in a stadium that just has an open roof, not even an outdoor stadium. I thought that was a little odd. Some of the choices pregame were a little interesting as well. They went for that whole Miami vibe, which, again, I don't think helped with the whole Winter Classic. I mean, winter's literally in the name. They went for the whole beach Miami vibe. So I get it. It was kind of neat. It was a boring game, and the Rangers really just took over that thing and won it. So I think Tampa can do it better, no question.
All right, yeah. I also thought it was the weird part was what they had in the on the field, like in the stadium. Other games it seems like there's more going on, a little bit denser with people, or at least performers. Seemed weirdly open with the way that they had it. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Jake. A Winter Classic should be somewhere that it has at least a hint of winter. For an outdoor game, I thought that they did a pretty decent job, all things considered. You know, the vibe that they pulled off with the like Miami Vice, I enjoy personally. You know, I'm obviously not a Panther fan, but I did like the way that there's even I mean, it might be a little silly, but there is an attire change for like Kachuk, and who else was sitting out?
Barkov.
Yeah, Barkov. They changed clothes halfway through it to kind of show off a little bit more style, and it kind of reminded me a little bit when they hosted the All-Star game a few years back in that sense. But yeah, as a Winter Classic, no, this isn't something that you cozy up on the couch nursing your New Year's Eve hangover with some hot chocolate and watch at noon. This was a day later, and it just didn't quite feel right. I will say I love the fact that the Panthers were never really in it, though.
It really did take a lot for me to watch any game between the Panthers and the Rangers. I mean, I'd rather watch paint dry than, those two teams. They're just both my arch nemesis. Even still, I do agree with you, Joe. I did like seeing the Panthers just never be in it. I didn't watch a whole lot of the game, but I had to tune in for a little bit. You always got to tune in for the Winter Classic a bit. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting spectacle. I was fully on board because it's been contentious since they announced it. Why is there a Winter Classic in South Florida? And I've always been on the team. Why not? It doesn't matter. The Panthers came in '93. People are like, oh, well, it's not winter down there and it's not a classic team. Well, the Panthers are older than teams that have played in the Winter Classics before. And you capitalize on a lot of snowbirds as well. I don't know if you guys saw how many blue jerseys were in that stadium, but I'd argue probably a 60-40 ratio of Ranger jerseys.
Goals were loud.
Oh, yeah. It sounded like a home game. It might as well have been. So I still think it's cool. Should we do it again? Not sure. Maybe it should just be relegated to the Stadium Series if Florida does get it again. Glad nobody's really complaining about the Lightning with the Stadium Series. That's been the biggest gripe that I've seen is the branding, the Winter Classic. Everyone's fine with the Stadium Series. It should be a better spectacle, in my opinion, just because the Lightning do everything better anyway, and just draw a lot less ire from Northern traditional hockey fans as well. So, fun show, but I don't know. Maybe could have been executed a little bit better.
If you want the whole breakdown of all the things happening during that the outdoor game for the Lightning and Bruins, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on social media because we will be talking a lot about that as we get closer and closer. I do hate to say it though, Matt. I do think there is going to be a lot of Boston fans at that game, and it's going to stink, but that's just the way things are. I mean, at a normal, regular Lightning game, you're going to get a lot of those Northern polls, especially for those original 6 teams. So, that's just kind of it.
I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as the Rangers fans in South Florida. Like, there's just I really don't think. I'd probably bet it'd be like 30% Bruins jerseys, which is still a lot, maybe more. But again, it seemed like a Rangers home game in South Florida.
We all know that Bruins fans are extremely annoying and obnoxious, so it probably will sound like it's louder than that count. But one of the things I think that actually hurts local fans from going are the ticket prices. It's easy to eat a couple $100 extra when you're spending several thousand to come down here for a vacation. Where I think some of the local people that want to go to the game, they're going to spend, but then to pull in additional people from around the Tampa Bay area when the ticket prices are like 3-4 times what the going rate could be at Amalie. Come
on, Joe. It's 2026.
Yeah, it's so last year. It makes it tough for some of the home fans, but it'll probably still be fun either way,
Oh, absolutely. And listen, this is your sign. If you're looking for a sign and you were on the fence of whether or not to go to this game, do it. It is a ton of fun. I went to the one in Nashville. It was hands down such an amazing experience. I do believe the ticket prices have dropped a little bit since they first came out. So, maybe go double check and see if we can get a better price right now. But it is well worth it. It's a fantastic experience. I cannot wait for the one in here, Tampa. I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And by the way, I will say this last quickly too. My gripe with the Winter Classics and outdoor games was never that they should. I'm thrilled that we're hosting them here and they did the ones in Florida, but it was always just they didn't invite some of the other teams, right? It was always the original 6. It was always that same group of teams that they did every single year. That was my complaint. Never that we weren't hosting it. Just make sure you mix in a couple more teams. But I would expect them to go back up north for the Winter Classics. I don't think there'll be another one down.
They're going to completely revert the exact opposite. Next year, we're getting Pittsburgh and Chicago again. They're going to revert back to form.
Fine. Just nice healthy rotation. Get those teams. Get the Utah Mammoth in there. Let the Oilers do some. Mix it up. You got to have this variety. But that's
what I kind of like that a lot. The idea of having it in the Midwest, Northeast sort of area, somewhere that's definitely going to be cool. But then you pull in an out of market team. Don't have another team that's in that area play in necessarily the one of those games. Instead, have it be someone else that you pull in and make it a little bit more interesting in that sense.
Just mix it up. You can have those original 6 matchups, but mix it up every once in a while.
Can I say one thing that I know you guys are gonna hate, but I liked the Winter Classic jerseys that the Panthers had. I thought they looked pretty good. They looked really appropriate. I liked them.
No, I'm actually with you. I think both the Rangers and the Panthers jerseys for the Winter Classic, I thought were great. I enjoyed them.
Rangers up close. From afar, they were kind of garbage.
Joe, you were right. I do hate you for that statement. I thought the Panthers jerseys were really bad. I wasn't a fan at all. I thought maybe the jerseys themselves were okay, and then when I saw them on the ice, I was like, there's way too much brown, burnt, like rust color on it. Like, I know they always try and go for that vintage, 1940s look on it, and I'm like, it just did not work. I was not a fan, and I've got no ground to stand on considering what our Stadium Series jerseys look like. But I think I can hate two things at once. The Rangers ones, I didn't really have a problem with.
Did you see the refs, by the way? And they were wearing like it wasn't a white. It was like was it off-white or
yeah.
It did not look good.
I thought that was kind of neat. Kitschy but neat.
Well, I mean, that's sort of the idea, right? Is like little details that catch your eye, something that they're putting some thought into in order to make it interesting, or at least attempting to make it interesting. So I appreciate those sort of things. It's small, but you see it and you're like, oh, that's kind of a neat touch.
By the way, I just want to pull this up comment quick too. Lisa, she agreed with me. She had the same thought when I was talking about earlier. My thoughts on the Winter Classic. So glad to know, Lisa, you agree with me. She also said Dallas is getting one in 2027.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're getting one at Jerry World.
Dallas. See now, wait, is that where it is?
I'm pretty sure. I think it's at AT&T Stadium, which is fully enclosed.
That's fully enclosed. I mean, you can.
Is the roof retractable?
No, you can open the windows and stuff, but the roof is not moving anywhere, which is interesting. I've been there once.
That's the one where the actual field moves inside and outside?
Wait, what?
No, well, I don't know if they do it at Dallas, but I know that for a fact that the Raider Stadium, the Allegiant Stadium, they have a retractable field that you can literally pull in and out. So
it's instead of using AstroTurf, they use real grass. They just put it outside.
Exactly.
You haven't seen it? That's dumbfounded.
Yeah, it's weird. And the only reason I know that is because I took a tour of that stadium and they told me about it. So,
can we get back to lightning stuff? Jeez, a half hour with you guys.
What is this podcast? Let's get into the games. You're absolutely right, Joe. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to talk about from this week. It's not even like we're avoiding negative games. So first one we got to talk about Lightning versus Ducks, the little West Coast road trip, if you will, for the Bolts this week, even though the times weren't, though, that bad at all. Early games for the Bolts. Lightning win this one by a final score of 4-3 in overtime. This was a game, the Lightning, you felt pretty good for the most part, but then the Ducks just clawed their way back, and they got into this game. They end up tying it very late on a power play goal for Mason McTavish, but then it is the man of the hour who we're talking about a lot in these game recaps, Darren Radish, who wins it in overtime. And I got to say, guys, I think this might be one of my favorite overtime goals, I guess, this season. Well, minus the one against the Edmonton Oilers. This is a really great overtime play. And for that goal, Radish is the one who gets the credit for it. He puts in the back of the net. great stuff just to get the 2 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, this was a really weird West Coast road trip, California trip for the Lightning. The fact that there's a 4 o'clock, a 7 o'clock, and a 4 o'clock start. Oh my God, the Lightning actually were awake for these games, and they definitely came out to play. And I agree with you. You know, Darren Radish, you could see it on his face when he scored that overtime goal, how absolutely ecstatic he was. That was a great finish.
His face, just like his head, was glowing and shining. No, this was a fun game. The overtime was really stressful to me. I can't remember the last time we have beaten or lost to the Ducks in regulation. It seems like these games always go to overtime or the shootout, but for the first, good couple minutes of overtime, it seemed like we were hemmed in our zone pretty well. I was fully prepared to lose the game, but the guys were trapped out there. They were tired, but man, what a good rush and what a great move by Hagel to get that puck to Darren Radish. Really underrated part of that play. Future captain, by the way. Just a fun game all around. I remember, talking about this last week. I was like, man, this California road trip isn't what it used to be. It might be what it really used to be, where it used to be Death Valley, but kicking it off to a good start with just an electric overtime winner from the Bald Eagle.
Doesn't get much better than that. But to see them do that in overtime, and it was a battle. And listen, the Ducks are not a bad team. They're one of the top teams over in the West right now. So to get 2 points and be able to beat them, a very young team, very nice. Only complaint in this game, I would say, the power
face-offs.
Well, I was just going to say the face-offs. Not great. 61.8% for the Ducks, 38.2% for the Lightning. And we know faceoffs have been a problem for the Bolts for a while now this season. That and the power play, those are the two things that have been a consistent issue for the Lightning, and they cannot seem to figure it out. It's one thing they have got to get going. Good news is, though, the winning streak would continue for the Bolts as they continued their West Coast road trip, taking on the Los Angeles Kings, and the Lightning win this one by a final score of 5-3. Faceoffs much better this time, 50-50, split right down the middle. So that was really nice to see. But Braden Point, he gets a goal in this game. He's been heating up as of late. We've been talking a lot about Braden Point in this game. He got 2 goals in this game, scored 1 later in the second period. But the Lightning really controlled that third period. They started to pull away. They were actually down in this game. LA had taken a 3-2 lead, and the Lightning go on to win it 5-3 after an empty netter from Nikita Kucherov. Great stuff from the Bolts once again against the Kings.
A familiar face actually was playing really hard against our Bolts with Corey Perry. He had, 3 primary assists in this game, and it started getting, kind of heated against the team that we don't see too often. But this, again, was a game that I thought the Lightning really just, even when it was close or we were down, they're just outplaying the Kings in a lot of aspects of it. And, you could kind of see that in the second period where it really kind of turned around for the Lightning. The Kings had 1 shot on goal.
I did say a little bit ago that I'd rather watch paint dry than Panthers and Rangers hockey, and maybe also Kings hockey. Man, they play a boring game. It was not a fun game for the first 2 periods, and even still, with us holding them bet to 1 shot in the entire second period, there wasn't much doing for us either. You were obviously objectively the better team throughout most of the game. The penalty kill was a little rough, but moving past all that, man, they are just tight checking, just neutral zone trapping, playing some great early 2000s hockey. And the dam broke right towards the end of the game. I'm glad Cirelli got that game tying goal. It really shut up some Team Canada fans there for just a quick second. Hopefully you can keep that up like we were talking about earlier. But man, just a gutsy, resilient. You were down. You had not every right to lose this game, but it didn't seem like you were going to be able to claw your way back into it. And then just a quintessentially Tony goal, just greasy right in front of the net, nasty, just gross goal. Gets you tied up, and then what was it, less than a minute later, Gonçalves gets just another equally, if not dirtier, gross goal to take the lead, and that was just so deflating for the Kings. And it was a good game from the Lightning when all the comments on the LA Kings post were all right, can we fire Jim Hiller already? They're not happy. They were not happy with any part of this game. The Kings fans weren't. So that's how it's just a really good game by the Bolts all around. Even if it didn't look like it for a good portion of this game, it was just boring. But man,
Yeah, it's that lockdown trap style game. They're just trying to win it with a 1 goal lead after they had that in the first. And um, I will say, last game, Braden Point got a goal. This game, he got two. Really starting to see the awakening of Braden Point. And did you guys catch? I only saw kind of like the headlines, didn't get details, but Spit and Chicklets on Braden Point.
I did not.
The sort of rumors on that. I don't want to like spread rumors, but apparently he's been going through some personal stuff at home or something along those lines that they said on the podcast, and maybe those sort of things have started to resolve themselves because he's really quickly coming up to form, and we know how much the beginning of the season we were saying that he didn't look like his old self. He's not playing quite as explosively, but he's playing right in that crease area. Like all of his goals right now are basically from the low slot right next to the crease, and he's getting being very effective in that area. It's something that we haven't really seen, and he's starting to do.
And he might have been dealing with a lingering injury, from the start of the season. I don't know what, but he didn't look like himself from game one. Even in like the one preseason game he played, just really didn't look like himself too much. So maybe he is fully healed, or maybe he's getting over whatever might have been troubling him off the ice. To me, it seems like he's the kind of guy that just doesn't care about a thing in the world. So I don't know how valid that can be, but ailments, personal ailments will trouble anyone, but I just can't imagine that from Braden Point. He seems like the chillest guy ever. So hopefully everything is in the rearview mirror because we have more of a sample size to prove that he is who he is versus what we've, seen in 20 games this year, which who he isn't. And he's really starting to heat up, and I'm glad he was rewarded with some good effort and got 2 goals in this game and, glanced over a goal in the Ducks game as well. Because he's also, a huge contributor to the power play. This is the worst the power play has been in years, pretty much maybe since John Cooper's been here, since Braden Point's been here at least. So if he's not going, the power play's not going. So hopefully everything is really starting to get into motion because, one domino will make the rest of the stack fall.
Hopefully, because that power play needs to get going. And it's good to see Point getting going. And if that was the case, if that rumor is true, and hopefully that is the case now that those things are being resolved and he's starting to feel more like himself again. And it's just good to see him play the way he has this week regardless. So good stuff from Braden Point. Daniel even saying looking faster again too, which, hey, that's a big part of Point's game, right, was that speed. By the way, Daniel also said from this week, this was the week of former Bolts trying to fight Bolts. Which is true. Did you guys realize though that Yanni Gourde and Corey Perry were never actually teammates, which is really weird to think about because they very close to overlapping, but actually never did. And someone posted a picture of Perry and Gourde and said you can tell that they almost look like it, but you can tell that they're not teammates. These guys don't like each other still. Even though they're both the same team.
I was kind of confused. I was like, man, weren't these guys, in a deep cup run together? And then I was like, oh, wait, no, they never did overlap. But even if they did, even if they played 20 years together and spent 1 year away from each other, I could totally see those guys also just doing exactly what they did. If they were roommates, best buddies, it's Corey Perry and Yanni Gourde. They're going to do what they're going to do, even if they were best buddies. So
there was a point where Cirelli and Perry grabbed each other, and it definitely felt different when that happened, where it wasn't nearly as contentious. But then again, Cirelli is more of a calming effect than Gourde, that's for sure.
No question about it. Well, good news for the Lightning is the good time just kept on rolling even after this game. They get the big win in LA, and then they headed out to San Jose, and they dominated these San Jose Sharks, despite some of the young talent on that team. Lightning win this one 7-3. I think this was also the same day that the Bucks played their last game at the time, still trying to get into the postseason. And I think the Lightning did their best Buccaneers impression. They scored the touchdown, kicked the extra point, trying to cheer on the Bucks who were playing at the same time. So 7 goals for the Lightning in this game. Braden Point, Darren Radish, Brandon Hagel, Dominic James back on the score sheet. Good to see for him too. Nikita Kucherov, and of course, Darren Radish with the hat trick in this game. Yes, you heard me right. The Bald Eagle with a hat trick. Unbelievable stuff from him. Unbelievable stuff from the Lightning. A game that they really just dominated from end to end.
Jake, let me tell you why you're wrong, because unlike the Bucks, the Lightning's offense is showing up in the back half of the season. So I'm still sad. I'm still coping.
Listen, I was trying to be nice. I was at the Bucks game. I was close to this one, and was trying to be supportive. Okay, Matt?
Thank you, Jake. I know you're a Packers fan, but yeah, we appreciate your crocodile tears.
Wow.
No, all jokes aside, I mean, just what a fun game to watch. I was, you never expect San Jose versus Lightning game to be as it did. I'm not even talking about the goals or anything. There were some heated moments in this game, specifically talking about the Macklin Celebrini hit, that really caused some tempers to flare. But even stepping away from that, the goals, I mean, it was just goal after goal after goal. You won this game in the first period. For a second there, they got that one power play goal. The penalty kills kind of let us down a little bit on this game and even in the Kings game a bit. But, man, I mean, it never felt out of reach, especially in the second period when it just kept piling on. And just what a weird, random, whoever bet on the Pavel Regenda and Darren Radish dueling hat tricks has got to be a millionaire for if he placed $1 on it. It's probably not even a possible bet at all. But just what a silly game overall for everything involved.
Yeah, December 27th, 2006 was the last defensive Lightning hat trick scored by Dan Boyle against the New York Rangers. And I happened to be at that game and remembered how crazy special it felt, because it was Dan Boyle was skating for it. It wasn't like he was taking one-timers that went in. That was something else. And that was what now, almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago. That's crazy.
What did you say, 2006? Buddy, that is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
No, I was
technically not yet, but
I was watching this game, and I had some friends over who are just casual. They don't care about hockey or anything, and they're wondering what's so special about this, whoever this Darren Radish guy is scoring a hat trick. I'm like, you know how rare defenseman hat tricks are? He was on hat trick watch for a good portion of that game. I'm just waiting for it, and then finally when it happens, I exploded. A, because it's Darren Radish. He's on my fantasy team now too. I had a hell of a night. And B, because it's just so rare, and I had to kind of explain it to them, why it's so cool and how long it had been. 20 years for a Bolt. It's almost as rare as a goalie goal nowadays. It happens maybe once a year, once every couple of years. I don't know who the last one in the league to get one was, but such a cool, rare thing. And undershadowing it is Kucherov's 5-point night, which seems to be, a couple time a year occurrence now as well. 1 goal, 4 assists. I mean, what a night for him as well. He was definitely helping Radish get some of those goals.
Yeah, and that's something that, we kind of alluded to in the previous game, saying that the power play is starting to pick up. But one of the things that's picking up is the ability for Radish to get the puck to the net and not miss the net, shoot it through people. And the league definitely is taking notice. When you have one of the hardest shots and you're not afraid to absolutely unload it when there's someone in front of you, it's going to make you tense up. And I think we talked about this in the last podcast too, just about what a big shot, what it can do, and look how it carried through these next 3 games. To be honest, I was actually starting, about 2 months ago, I was starting to be on the fence with Radish, because he was not hitting the net. He was having some trouble with some passing, especially some breakout passes. And I was starting to wonder if he is regressing or can be able to continue to be a solid defenseman for us. And now that he's got this offensive upside, it makes you wonder too, when Hedman comes back, what do you do? Do you actually thinking about it now?
Healthy scratch.
You put Bjorkstrand on the bench and you put Darren Radish on that left-hand circle, we actually might have something to work with here once Hedman comes back.
But I don't know if I want him in the circle. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, keep him at the point, keep him where he is. I know Hedman's probably the better passer, the better quarterback for it, but
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they can flip-flop or swap or something. But I do like that idea because Bjorkstrand, He is a one-trick pony. Darren Rat. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Darren Ratch, he's a much more versatile player, especially on the power play. He's been, quite the antidote to this poor power play. So I'd keep him exactly where he is, if not maybe just jumble him around a little bit with Victor coming back. But yeah. I do like that idea, Joe.
And I don't even know that I'd call him versatile. He's got a really hard shot that he's finding the net now. You're not going to see him skate around too much, and his passes are okay. They're not as deceptive as what Hedman, I think, can do, because he's got that long reach, and then he puts the pass somewhere you're not necessarily anticipating. But that's, with Point coming on, this could be something as they continue to progress here. And I mean, Darren Radish has all the confidence in the world right now as well.
Radish in the circle would be quite interesting, and I'm kind of want it to happen now just to see. I mean, hey, power play has been playing good, so why not?
They tried it for like 3 or 4 power plays, I think, at the beginning of last season.
They did.
But he couldn't hit the net. Yeah.
Now he can. So who knows? Well, Cooper's got options, basically, to say that right now. Daniel was just mentioning here too. They tried it in the past, yes, but it does feel a little bit different in this situation with how he's been playing as of late. Go ahead, Matt.
I wonder if, and this is a name that I don't know if has been brought up at all this season, other than when they first hired him, but Dan Hinote, the new defense coach, if he has anything to do with it, because you've got J.J. Moser playing like, Nicholas Lidstrom. You've got Darren Radish, who actually learned how to play defense and has a lot more offense to his game now. Nobody here is complaining about Jeff Blashill anymore. I don't know if it's just a team culture or Dan Hinote's really just working some magic, but I mean, the defense as a whole, even with the laundry list of injuries we've had, hasn't been perfect, but has improved drastically, especially since the start of the season. Brand new coach, you're going to be a little rusty, or you have to learn your players, but you got to give him a little bit of credit with how much we did crap on Blashill. You got to give Hinote a little bit of credit here as well. And it might not be, a factor at all, but even if it is a little bit of a smoke and mirrors, and it's just a different voice and different, not coordinator, but coach back there. If it's whatever he's doing, it's working. So keep it up.
I got to pull up this comment because it's kind of funny. Daniel said Darren Radish pulled a Jameis Winston and finally got it. The only thing is, though, Jameis Winston was still bad even after he got his LASIK. So Radish putting the pucks in the back of the net. But either way.
And just to touch real quick, since you did mention the Celebrini and the defensive, that coming to his defense from the Sharks, I think like that may have been just more of a frustration thing. Right, because the one clean hit that was it Moser that came across and tagged him pretty good. It was clean. He could have hit him way harder. He just put a clean hit, and it wasn't something that injured the guy. Just a head down. He came across, and I think it was even shoulder to shoulder, and there was no real head contact dirty at all. Yeah.
The clip I saw of it was from the Sharks broadcast, because I saw this later, and they didn't even. They're like, there's no problem with the hit. Some fans were upset. I think that they got an extra penalty in that situation because of the retaliation from the Lightning.
Yeah.
But, they were even saying the hit was not dirty.
Yeah, there wasn't a penalty there. Like when you start an altercation, like, and get the instigator with a fight. That's basically what they got. And then there was the other one where it was on the half boards, which was just a nothing thing as well, just 2 guys in a scrum. It was really just the Sharks getting frustrated with losing. A big hit on their guys enough that they got kind of fired up about it. You could see Hagel barking in the box at some of that stuff, but some of the fans are just that are especially on X are just. They have no idea what they're watching, man. It's like a fan club that think that their guy is untouchable.
I didn't see too many Sharks fans that were complaining about the hit. Like, most of them were pretty level-headed. I don't really have bad experiences with Sharks fans.
To be honest, it's probably the ones that were crossing over into people that were into lightning posts. So it was popping up on my screen.
True, yeah, but no, I didn't see too many people mad about it. But I also, got to not commend the players, but you give them a little bit of slack. Even a clean hit on your star rookie, you do kind of have to stamp a little bit. I don't think it needed to spiral into what it was, but you can't blame them for standing up for your face of the franchise, who's the ripe age of 19, maybe 20. So can't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting your ass kicked on the ice, though, and you give them an opportunity to stop playing hockey and start going fisticuffs. That's, it's the way it's gonna go, right?
Brian Engblom says it all the time. You're playing your game, you turn around and see your player down on the ice. You don't know what happened. You're going to go after the guy. It's just the way things work. So I don't blame the Sharks for retaliating when they saw him go down. But it was a clean hit nonetheless, and a great game for the Bolts. They score all those goals. They get the win. The boys are fired up, and they come away from this West Coast little trip here at 3 straight wins, and they've been hotter than any team in the NHL right now. What is that right now? Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I need to pull
6 games.
6 games in a row.
7-game win streak. We're 7-2-1. I have it pulled up right now. We are currently tied with the Carolina Hurricanes, 53 points, but we have a game in hand. So looking pretty good to be at the top of the Eastern Conference.
Things you love to hear, and to think how bad things started out at the start of this season, and look where we are now. What a turnaround. And
how crazy things started at the beginning of the season, right? There's still only 10 points that separate first and last in the entire conference. When you look at the Western Conference, I'm going to take Colorado out of it because they're just going nuts right now. So let's say 58 points for the Stars and 34 points for the Jets. So they're
They won the President's Trophy last year, by the way. The Jets did.
Oh, that's brutal.
How things can change in an instant. It's unbelievable to think about, especially like you're talking about, Joe, with the Eastern and the Western Conference, how different they've just been this year. It's crazy. Not to say. By the way, Lightning Colorado Avalanche coming up Tuesday, tomorrow. We'll talk about that when we look at the games ahead, but that's going to be quite the big game.
And Joe, one of the stats that you love to point out, again, taking Colorado out of the equation entirely, the Lightning lead the league in goal differential with, plus 34?
32.
32, and Colorado is plus 70-something, just completely insane. But if you take them out of the equation, leading the league in goal differential,
they freaking lost last night against the Panthers.
No, the one time I cheer for Colorado, the one time. I should do it more, I guess. Maybe I'll cheer for them tomorrow.
I know it's a team that did really good, unbelievably good in the regular season, and things didn't end too well for them in the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say. So let's get to our 3 stars of the week, guys. There was a lot of good things to take away from this week, maybe even a little difficult to pick with so many guys showing up, but I think we put together a pretty good list. Let's start with our number 3 star. It's a guy we've been talking about that really starting to show up. He's getting hot. His alarm clock went off, and that's none other than Braden Point, who gets the number 3 star. Good to see Point get going. He had 4 goals, 1 assist in these 3 games, 5 total points, and was a +4. Good stuff from Braden Point.
If any other Lightning players are really just starting to fall off and just do pretty poorly, I'll just trade them away from my fantasy team because that means they'll just really pick it up. I gave up on the Braden Point experiment pretty quickly because I traded for him and then got rid of him pretty quickly, and as soon as I did, he's reverting to form. So I think, like Daniel was saying, he looks a little bit faster. Maybe not exactly his true self, but 4 goals, 1 assist through 3 games this week. He's shutting up the other part of the Team Canada haters that say he shouldn't have made it. He's reverting to form, being the guy that we know exactly who he is, that 50-goal scorer, that 40-assist guy, maybe closer to 50 goals, but man, just good to see him back being himself. He's just really starting to revert to form. I guess that's the theme of my show today, is revert to form.
I got really nothing else to add besides that, too. I mean, it's been a really good stretch for him. He's been point per game for 5 consecutive games, and he's got, just scrolling back all the way to the 8th of December, there's only been 2 other games where he didn't have a point. So, I mean, he's definitely started picking it up in December here, and obviously continuing into January. And that's something the team desperately needs in order to get that power play clicking.
Number 2 star of the week was the number 1 star of the week for the entire NHL. Boy, man, has this guy been hot. He is scoring points at a ridiculous rate as of late. It's Nikita Kucherov. He was unbelievable. Listen to this stat line, guys. 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points in 3 games played, and he was a +6, which, if I'm not mistaken, at a quick glance here, led the team. So not only did he put up 10 points, but he led the team in plus-minus. Fantastic stuff from Nikita Kucherov, he easily earns the number 2 star of the week.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to say, Joe. Take it away.
I mean, I'm glad you pointed out the +6 because that was something at the beginning of the season that we were actually griping a little bit about. He was still being able to put up some points, but the opposite side of the puck, he was slacking or at least lacking in terms of team defense. And now he's a +18 on the season. Sure, a third of that came in these past 3 games, but his season is well-rounded now with the way he's playing on both ends of the puck. I got the last 5 pulled up. He's got a goal in every single game of the last 5 and 2 and 2 of them. So he's about as hot as you can expect for a Nikita Kucherov. Do you have the? I wonder how quickly I can just pull up the stats to see where. Here we go. To see where he's leading for or sitting for points. He's now 4th. For points in the NHL, which if you remember, I think like 2 shows ago, he's like 20th or something like that.
Yeah, I think last week he was 14th. I think I might have brought up the stat last week that this isn't really about him, but of the top 15 point scorers, 14 of them were from the Western Conference, and then Nikita Kucherov, who was somewhere in that 15 to 10 range, and now he's sitting at 4th. Again, don't win the Art Ross, but be second. Have the best, point per game percentage or something, because we know what happens when Cooch wins the Art Ross. But, man, it's always so funny. I was also seeing stats where over the last 10 years, the point leaders at the halfway point of the season and then at the end of the season, and it was always, McKinnon, and then Kucherov wins it back-to-back years. McDavid, that one year, he was leading it halfway through the season, then Kucherov, he ends up winning the Art Ross. He just loves to give these guys a head start and really, turns it on. Really just reminds the league who he is every year, it seems. And we're in the middle of angry Cooch right now, of hyper Cooch.
By the way, even if you took away all of Kucherov's power play points from this week, he still would be second on the team in points. He had 5 power play points and 5 even strength points. So just absolutely ridiculous stuff from Nikita Kucherov. And he would have been the number 1 star this week if it wasn't for this guy who just absolutely blew everybody away. The hat trick by a defenseman in the last 20 – for the first time in the last 20 years. This guy, well-deserved. Darren Radish, the bald eagle.
Who?
Unbelievable stuff.
Number 1 star for Darren Radish? I didn't think that would ever happen in a week that – we got Kucherov putting up, what did we say it was, 8 points or something?
10 points in
10
3
points
games.
in 3 games. Yeah, and we got somebody that outshines him, and he did. He's got 2 points in that first game, 2 points in the second, and getting 3 points in the third game. Like, he's heating up. This is absolutely insane from, like I said, a guy that I was starting to wonder, what sort of upside he's going to have. That's just crazy. There's nothing more I can say except for that.
From a defenseman, 7. Kucherov put up 3 more.
That's Hedman's and his doing Hedman
best
stuff.
days. Yeah. No, sometimes all a guy needs is an opportunity, and he has taken it and sprinted with it. And he's aerodynamic with that dome. So, can I give you guys a stat that I love?
Can't wait.
Points in the year of 2026. Darren Radish has 5. Nathan McKinnon, 4. I mean, Darren Radish just clears Nathan McKinnon. They should give him the
Wouldn't
heart.
even trade him straight up.
No, I wouldn't. If you can get McDavid and McKinnon in the same deal, I'll think about it. But right now, hey, LeBron, we're good. We've got Ben Simmons. No, just what a
basketball's lost on me.
I love that meme. It's great. No, just what a week, what a year for Darren Radish. And it wouldn't be RBLR Lightning if I didn't bring up my fantasy team. But when I picked him up, he was ranked 144 in the league. 144. He's now ranked 7th since I picked him up. That was what? How long has Hedman been injured? For like 2 months or so? How long has this Linsanity run been for him? And he has moved up 130-something spots to just really take the league by storm. People, and like, it's not even just Lightning fans that are like, wow, this guy's actually pretty good. Like, the league is taking notice of this guy right now, and it sucks because someone's going to give him $6 million. Every goal, every point he gets, his dollar amount's going up, which is making me sad because
his contract's up at the end of this season. I mean, we can talk about that in the future too, because I personally have some feelings on it. But just looking at his stats right now, he is 1 point away from point per game pace, and
that's insane. You guys know how I always say future captain Brandon Hagel, right? It's been a running joke for us for a while now. I'd like to start a new one, and that is Norris candidate Darren Radish, because this guy is playing great defense and putting up the offense that he could very well make himself a case right now for being a Norris candidate. That's how good he has been. And you quickly mentioned it, John. Daniel said this a while back. He said he put this comment a while back, and I was waiting to bring it up, saying, has Radish played his way out of Tampa? It's definitely a conversation we're going to have with Radish and his contract and all that good stuff. What's he going to get? It's too early to really think about that right now and to tell. But like you said, Matt, he could get paid a lot of money right now with the way he's been playing, especially if it continues even when Hedman is back and fully healthy.
Yeah, I mean, God knows what somebody's going to give him, but, the most coveted thing in the NHL, even over a star goalie, is a right-handed defenseman. Like, even if he's putting up half as many points as he is, somebody would take a flyer on him, and I really wouldn't have any hard feelings towards him, because you're about to make generational wealth if you keep this up. And if some team wants to give him, $6 million a year, maybe more, who knows with this the current economy in the NHL. But I wouldn't be able to blame him a bit. Ideally, we keep him. Ideally, he's the power play 2 and maybe takes the reins if he can keep this up as the power play 1 option as Victor Hedman gets into his advanced age of 36 or whatever he is. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to be mad.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's not Pokemon. You can't collect them all. You're going to have to get rid of somebody at some point. And, Radish, when we get closer to the trade deadline, we can kind of see what the value could be on a return for him, because allowing him to go to free market would be, I mean, we got to see when it gets closer. JBB's always working deals behind the scenes anyway. It'd have been nice if he kind of did that one behind the scenes instead of the Dastu deal. But
you got to imagine his agent's playing hardball right now.
Yeah, but at the same rate, how much can he play with? He's playing well these past few games, makes a really good argument. My thought is that JBB will just put the whole conversation on ice until they get to a point that is more advantageous for him. But I do like his intensity. Also, I wanted to kind of bring up, he scored his hat trick, and it was a goal that he didn't really celebrate. He more was trash talking the other team because of how physical they had got, and that he just completely slammed that one home to put an exclamation point on the game. He's a guy that is fighting for his team. He's fighting hard in his position right now, and I think that we've got a really good player if we do keep him, if he can continue even at part of the space.
Here's an idea. Sign him to a 2-year deal, whatever he wants, and I don't know, at some point in the deal, you trade him for McDavid. He's making $14 million. McDavid's on a 2-year deal. It would be a perfect money swap. It would be a perfect term swap.
Go.
Like
Same.
We can re-sign McDavid. Again, they'll throw in a couple draft picks, of course, but it's just a galaxy brain idea.
All right, turn off your PlayStation, Matt.
Xbox.
By the way, Lisa said to you, Matt, but Matt, if it gets a cup,
do whatever. Get a cup. I don't care.
We'll see what JB does. We know how good he is at getting a lot of that stuff done and being the wizard that he is. So it'll be interesting. Real quick, too, Daniel did ask this question: would you keep Radish or Cernak? Right.
Radish.
That's not even close to a.
With the Radish, with the way Radish has been playing as of late, I don't know how you couldn't say Darren Radish. I mean,
forget the way Radish is playing. With the way Chernak's been playing as of late, I don't think there's a way
that's
Darren
also
Radish.
If you could just swap their deals, I think that would be perfect. Because Cernak, he makes 5 something, like 5.5 in that range. If you could just give him that deal and the rest of the term on it, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah. He's definitely proved it right now, and hopefully that can continue throughout the rest of the season. All right, let's talk about the schedule coming up here for the Bolts before we wrap things up, guys. Not a ton of games coming up for the Bolts here, because the NHL schedule makers, they're so good at what they do. The Lightning are going to play on Tuesday against the aforementioned Colorado Avalanche at 7 p.m. Eastern, back at Benchmark International Arena. A lot of away games right now. They just had that road trip. They're back here at home, and then they're going on another road trip of 4 games. They play one more home game, back on the road for 2 more before they come back home. So kind of weird there. But then the Lightning are going to have 3 days off after that game against the Colorado Avalanche, and then they will play the Philadelphia Flyers in Philly at 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And then they're going to play the Flyers again on Monday the 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that is the first half of a back-to-back where they'll take on the Penguins on Tuesday the 13th, again at 7 p.m. Eastern. I mentioned those two. I'm not sure when we'll be back live to talk about the week games. We'll figure that out, though. And just make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media so you do know when we do go live. But that is the schedule coming up for the Bolts here.
Well, this Avs game should be fun. Unstoppable force versus immovable object vibes right now. It's always they're always a fun game. I still really dislike the team, but the games are very seldom a blowout post 2022 Stanley Cup final. Hopefully you can kick them while they're down, and by down I mean their first regulation loss in weeks to the Panthers. Hopefully this Florida road trip's a little rude to the Avalanche, so it'd be great if you can steal a win from them. That would make me feel pretty good. And then the back-to-back games against the Flyer, or it's not an actual back-to-back, but what is it, a home and home?
No, it's an away and away.
Really? What
home and home for the Flyers, yeah.
That's interesting. What is this week? This is a weird week for the schedule. I'm glad you pointed that out, Jake.
What are we going to do the next show? Are we going to try just having 2 games and going on Monday, or maybe try doing a Tuesday around 6?
We're going to have to figure that out because it's a weird schedule. I mean, by the way, the Lightning better win this game against the Avalanche, because then I don't want us to have to sit for 3 days with a loss thinking about that. That's no fun. Yeah. So. It's a big game. We'll figure it out, though. And again, follow us on social media, ring the bell for notifications, all that great fun stuff, because we will be back once again to talk about more Lightning hockey. And hopefully it's as good a week as this one was, because there was a lot of great. So, guys, I think that's going to do it for us in this episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in with us live once again. And with that said, we'll see you guys in the next one. Go Bolts!
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.